right, any day now.
That was so fucking.
I'm telling you, it's always so delayed. Okay, here we go. All right, welcome to another episode of the Ghoul Friend Hour. I'm your host, your ghost host, Morgan Feza. Thanks for joining us. Go ahead.
I got nuts.
We're just discombobulated today, so just excuse us. Our intro is going to be...
I'm your host ghost who likes toast that's eating nuts.
And is the most nuttiest.
The nuttiest ghost. And I'm all a ghost at this point. Rachel Faust.
Yeah.
She's completely transformed.
I am a ghost now.
So.
She is at 100% full capacity ghost.
Yes. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it, why not, right?
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
I'm trying to find...
We're early.
Okay, here we go.
Whatever we want to be.
Pretty much. I mean, who's going to tell us we can't? And even if they did tell us, I mean, it's not like we're going to fucking listen. Really, get wrecked. I'll listen to you. Yeah, so tonight we are gonna talk about some haunted hospital history and get into the spookier side of healthcare. We have some cool things in store for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy it. So tonight's topic, Rachel, yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. Again, even if you didn't enjoy it, we don't really give a shit, so buckle up. Listen, and if you don't like it, we don't want to hear it. Even for the people that did like it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about.
You want to talk about mothers?
The Trivette in North Carolina.
Oh wait, hold on. Can we redo that? Because I didn't think to like ASMR my mic. Ready? So we're gonna talk about.
Forget what you heard. The Trivette in North Carolina.
Hold on. What did you say one more time? Because I think we overshadowed you with our drum roll.
The Trivette Clinic in North Carolina.
3 times a charm.
All right, 3 times a charm. Yeah. So now there should be no question what we're talking about. If you want to know what we're talking about, you're SOL.
Yep, you missed it.
We've already said it.
You missed it
3 times.
3 times.
3 times. So, yeah. So before we get into that, we were having an interesting conversation. I was like, hold on, we got to turn on the live because every time we have interesting conversation, we never get it like ever on video because we're too busy just like talking off camera.
Yapping.
Mike. Okay, is that better? I feel like I had it on 2-person, so it was like if I wasn't talking to this side, it was like not capturing me. But yeah, so we were talking about what were we talking about?
We were talking about some chair that you got.
Oh, my gooseneck rocking chair. So we were talking about haunted objects, and the reason we were talking about haunted objects is because
Morgan's living a
drum roll.
Now everyone is cursed.
I'm sorry.
This is Rosie, or as Maisie has now been calling her, Miss Rosie. Yeah, she's really pretty. She just needs a little thumb repair and some TLC. Little TLC. So
Hey.
Yeah, so I'm slightly terrified, but it's okay. No, just kidding. But we were talking about like how I've never like I think I've like grown up around objects with like spooky energy, but I've never. Is that my child? I think my mic's just picking up Maisie. Sorry. That like I was like, hold on, why am I hearing a child's laughter? Like, but it didn't sound like it sounded like movie, you know, like in a movie, like that eerie child's laughter, and I was like,
no, we don't.
I was like, real child or Miss Rosie. So anyways, Okay, quick scare. We're good. So we were talking about like how I've grown up around haunted objects, but I've never actually accidentally picked, well, accident, not so much accident. My child threw a temper tantrum in the Goodwill. She wanted to bring a doll home. She was very, very inclined to bring Miss Rosie home. And so she came home with us. I was like, okay, she doesn't have a bad energy. She's got some energy. So we brought her home, and Taylor was very adamantly against this. She was like, not a good idea. And then she was like, hey, have you not seen The Possession? Because that was a fun time. She's like,
I literally
not a
just
good
watched
idea.
it the day or two before you called me that you got that.
Yeah, not a good time. So, not a good time, Bob. Have you seen? No? Nobody? Nobody's seen it?
What?
No. What about Bob?
Oh, yeah. I love What About
Like,
Bob.
not a good time, Bob. That's what I felt like when Taylor's telling me about the movie. I was like driving with Rosie in my passenger seat, and I was like, I don't even know this right now. I'm so scared. No, but so she's been good. We've been having some. Matt has been having some very unpleasant activity that he's not very happy with. We have all but collectively been waking up at 3 a.m. on the dot, give or take 3 or 3:30. He's been having like some crazy nightmares. Like one night he had it was like a work nightmare, and then he had like a nightmare that it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like he's been having some scary nightmares. Meanwhile, mine were just like my normal like spiritual foo-foo, like, stuff. And then like the one that I was just telling them about that kind of got me was and I'm like 100% convinced it was Miss Rosie, was she was very unhappy that my house is very motherhood messy. Not dirty, just messy. Like there's just stuff everywhere. And so she was like, listen, grab that toilet brush, scrub that toilet to the high heavens, and like get it done, because this is disgusting.
That's an
And I was like,
accountability post.
yeah, she's just very, very regimented and very anal. So I was like, all right.
She's very demure, very mindful.
Very demure, very mindful. Yes. Very clean. What was that? What's that TikTok? Oh no, I don't know. It's like pussy clean, pussy fresh, something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
Pussy tight, pussy lean.
I was like, that's terrible to say that. I was like, can I even say that on a podcast?
We're talking about cats.
Yeah,
Cats.
yeah.
Cats.
Yeah. But it's a song on TikTok. That's what made me think of it. But
about
so
cats.
yeah, so there was so we had that dream, and it's just I've been having these just off the wall dreams. I had a dream about my haunted manor, which was very interesting, and I told them about that, and there were some interesting developments on that, but I'll tell you guys that off the air. And so anyways, we got into the fact that the only other thing that I have that like has some energy, but it's like, to me, it's very comforting. It is my favorite antique in the house. I have an original gooseneck rocking chair, and the story behind it was like super sweet. So there was a guy that like he had a house, but he had like this, he was making a it was a huge pole barn that he was turning into like a legitimate, like really cool ass clubhouse. Like it had a built-in bar, it had like a stage, it had like, it was huge, and he had like arcade games in there. So he was in the process of turning the other half of it. So that was just the first half, and he's turning the other half of it into so I think he was going to finish it out, like he was going to make more space for it. So basically he had all these antiques leftovers from his parents' house, and he had this woodnet rocking chair, and he was like, listen, like he wasn't selling it for a whole lot, but he was like, this is really special to me, like I obviously want to go to the right person. He said it was my mom's, and it's been passed down, like she's raised all of her kids in it. So I think he was like one of 6, or like, so she, through every pregnancy, every birth, like this chair has seen so many different generations of life. And he was like, do you want to sit in it? And I'm like, yeah, like I'll test it out. Like, and I was like, obviously if I'm going to put it in my office, I want it to be comfy. And to this day, even Matt, like it is my favorite part of my office. Like I sit in it and I just feel like it just feels like a big hug. And he said his like mom, like this was her chair. And it was like the only thing that she like cared about. Like she was like, I don't care if you give everything else away. Like this is like super special to her. And apparently I think he did say that I don't remember, but I thought he had said, you know, like just full transparency. I think she did maybe pass away in it. If I remember correctly. I don't know if he said she was like, I don't know. Don't quote me on this. Because I just remember like she was in it in the last like days of her life. And so I was like, that didn't really freak me out. Because I was like, it seemed like I had been really, you know, but I was worried because I was like, if I take this thing home, is she going to be upset that I brought this home? So I was like, this is going to be good or bad. But since we've had it in my house, when I tell you, like, my dogs love my office it just has a good vibe. It's got really cool antiques in it. It has my gooseneck rocking chair. It is just so comforting. And I'm like, I think that's my favorite because it's not haunted, but it's got energy to it. And it's like a really good energy. So now we're just trying to translate that to Rosie. And I'm like, Rosie, let's keep the good vibes going in the office. Let's not disrupt the flow.
Put her in the chair.
Be cool. Everything's fine. I'm like, we got Flick here. We got Mothman. Like, everything's cool. Everything, the vibes are flowing. Got a little sweetgrass above the door to keep the vibes going strong. So, I don't know. But those are pretty much my two objects. But this is like my first. Yeah. I don't really know what to classify it as. I don't want to say haunted because I'm not like being haunted. I'm just being a little inconvenienced. It's an inconvenienced object.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that leads us into a haunted location. We're going to bridge that into the haunted location that we're kind of talking about today, because just like objects being haunted, and as you've heard us talk on the show numerous times, there are a lot of other things that can be haunted, such as locations. So the Trivette Clinic is a very notoriously, well, I don't want to say notoriously. It is notorious to some people, but it was a location that I was new to. I don't know about you guys. You guys new to it?
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I was pretty new to it until I talked to Alex Matsuo about, like, I said, what was like your favorite haunted location that you were like, oh yeah, this is definitely haunted, like without a doubt. And she was like, by far the Trivette Clinic. And I was like, wow, coming from her, for her to kind of put her stamp of approval on it like that, I was like, there's got to be something interesting. So she started to tell me about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's spooky. Like it's really spooky. So I'm going to let.
So it's deemed to be spooky.
Yeah.
I was watching Alex's videos on.
Oh.
I was just gonna say I was watching when I was
Taylor,
sorry. I was just so sorry. I was just gonna say I saw Alex's videos on TikTok and I thought they were really cool.
Get it out.
Go ahead.
Alex's videos had a lot of history.
Yeah, that.
Rachel, speaking of history. We're doing well. We're doing well on the transitions.
I like it. Hey, I think this is pretty good. If you haven't heard, we were on another podcast and it was only like our voices and we couldn't see each other. And so it was almost like we didn't know when each other was going to talk. So like,
we're like,
pauses and then we'd be like, all at the same time. That was so
we were
hard.
doing our best.
It was really good. It was a really good one, but it was just so funny. Like, it was just like silent and then be like all of us trying to talk at the same time. Like we didn't know who was going to talk.
We did our best. Honestly, the fact that we got through that interview in an hour, I mean, major kudos to Sophia for keeping us on track. But I'm just really proud that we got through it in an hour.
Wow.
Without a real hitch. Like we're moving up in the world.
We were professional. We kept it right there.
Yeah. So history.
History.
Rachel, fill us in on the history of the Trivette Clinic and why this could possibly... Oh, hold on. Your dad commented, so we have to read this.
Oh no, what'd he say?
Run! Father-in-law's former house in Leipzig is haunted. Perfume smells would just appear in random cold spots.
Ooh.
I'm sad like whenever I hear stories as somebody who's an investigator now, when I hear stories about like former homes or like homes that people used to own in the past but they've since moved, because I'm like, if I like would have still lived in my grandparents' house as an investigator from an investigative standpoint, I would have loved to use my equipment like in these places. Or like, I don't know, I just feel like if I would have been more gotten into this earlier, it would have been really cool to see like not only my house, but I have a couple of friends who are like, oh my God, I grew up in a haunted house. I'm like, do you know how many locations we would have had to investigate and check out? And like,
yeah, how you come you just pulling this out now? I've never heard of that.
Damn, Rachel, he's holding out on you.
Wow. Wow. I see how it is.
Leipzig? Is Leipzig PA?
No, Leipzig is like past Little Creek, not quite.
Is it Delaware?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know it was in Delaware. I thought that was Pennsylvania.
No.
What's the haunted registry? I've been looking for...
How you get on the haunted
Don't you dare say you've been looking for haunted objects to bring home.
No, I've actually, another thing I'm going to have to talk to you guys off on air. I'm on a personal journey to acquire something that is quite substantial, but I'm still looking into the nitty-gritty of it.
I don't like that.
Oh, man.
Taylor said, I don't like that, because she knows I'm fucking crazy. She's like...
You brought home Miss Rosie.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Listen, I broke my own rules on that, because my one rule I always had was I would never bring a doll home from Goodwill. Ever.
You're the same person who 2 or 3 years ago, I thought it would be funny because I saw in Salvation Army a Ouija board for $2 and I brought it home and you told me to get rid of that shit real quick. I got rid of that shit. I may not have properly gotten rid of it, but I got rid of that shit real quick.
Listen, I don't care if Maisie's kicking and screaming. I don't care if she's chewing a hole through the wall at the Goodwill. She is not coming home with a Ouija board. That's like a whole different level in my eyes, because I still don't have a good relationship with Ouija boards. I know some people feel differently, but I was able to kind of suss out Rosie and I wasn't feeling anything. So I'm like, all right, like, I feel like it's gamble, but like, it's not like a risky gamble. Like things like lights may flicker. There may be like something, maybe things disappear a little here and there, but I wasn't feeling like it was like my bed was going to levitate in the middle of the night.
I would have you in that aisle, just like eyeing it, just like looking at it in the eyes, just like,
he's just like, I want, well, okay. I'm going to paint the picture for you. So there was like, you know, when you go to Milford Goodwill, it's like all like now it's a lot more organized, but they have like the whole back wall is like white bookshelving. And then there's like another row of like those wire, like, I don't even know what to call them. Like people have them in their garages, like the like stacker things, like shelves. Yeah, like the garage shelves. So they have a bunch of those that kind of make like another like long row of those. And we're like walking around the kids' toy section. So I always take her there because sometimes we find stuff that's like new, or there's some like antique, like Fisher Price toys that are really cool. We were like walking along that. We get to the back of the wall and I went to turn and I was not even paying attention. And she's like, I want that doll. And I was like, what? And I was like a toy doll? Like I'm thinking like not like doll. I'm thinking like Barbie or like, so like I see like it didn't have like the book shelving. It was just like one, like it was like one tall column of the bookshelf where all the shelves had been removed, and there was only one divider, and it was just stacked with like porcelain dolls. And I think that's why like I just wasn't paying attention to it, because like if you were to like just glance at it and walk by, you'd think it was like, I don't know, like blankets or like something, I don't know, just stuff from the Goodwill just shoved in the corner. And I go over and I'm like looking at some of the dolls and I'm like, oh, this one's pretty cool. It had like a poodle skirt. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, just teasing her. I'm like, all right. And then she was like, no, I want that doll. And I'm like, what doll? She's like, the baby. And I was like, huh? And she's like, that one. And so like, I'm like, this one? No, put it down. This one? No. How like she spotted this doll? I have no idea. Like she was like literally like it was like the Wicked Witch of the West. Like her feet were just kind of like hanging out from the bottom there. And I was just like, so she was like, I want that one. So like I pulled it out and I was like, all right, it's not sussy. But to get to her, I picked up this little, like, it was like, is that my dog? Bosley. I heard something rattling in my. I'm sorry, guys. I keep hearing like really like miscellaneous noises, and I'm like,
I don't know if it picked up, but I also heard something rattle at the same time, and it was coming from upstairs above me. So maybe it happened. I don't know.
Oh, it was
something
like
dropped. Like yes, yeah.
Okay.
That might have been my end. That might have been my end.
Like,
I don't know. I didn't think it would have picked up.
Well, because Luna has a habit. I'm like, and I can't talk when they're distracting my ears. So I was like, what? I'm like, is that my dog right now? Because I'm about to kick them out of the office. So, yeah, so like I picked it up. I'm like, okay, but to get to her, on top of her, there was like this little sussy ass doll. It was like this big, and it was porcelain, and like I did not like it. I was like, I'm like, please don't let this be the doll that she's talking about. Like immediately when I picked it up, I was like, please don't let it be this doll. Please, please. I'm like, no, we're not bringing this home. And like she was like, no, not that one. I'm like, thank you, God. I'm like, I was like ready to run, but it was like, I don't know, it had a bad energy. It was creepy. It was like literally only about like 2 feet. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. I've never really seen a doll like that. So it was super creepy. But then Miss Rosie came along and she's pretty cool. She's just a little strict on the cleaning policy. Which honestly, I mean, is she wrong? I kind of need to get my act together. I kind of need to clean my house up a little bit. I mean, it's kind of the fire under my butt that I needed. So yeah. So that's how we ended up here, folks.
Full circle.
Full circle. So now back to the Trivette Clinic. Let's talk about the history of this place and why it is haunted.
All right. So tonight we're heading to North Carolina to talk about the Trivette Clinic. This place is well known in the paranormal community for its hauntings, but what makes it even more fascinating is its history behind it. So in 1932, Dr. William Trivette had a dream. He wanted to open a state-of-the-art medical facility in Hamptonville, North Carolina. Now, at this time, healthcare, especially in rural areas, wasn't exactly modern. Many small towns didn't even have a hospital, and people often relied on home remedies or traveled long distances for care. So Dr. Trivette wanted to change that. So he builds the clinic, a 3-story structure that was intended to be a cutting-edge medical facility for its time. It had patient rooms, an operating room. It even had its own laboratory. And there was one major problem. It opened in the middle of a tuberculosis epidemic. So if you know anything about TB, then you know it's a terrifying disease of the early 20th century. It was highly contagious and there was no real cure. So if you got it, you're in for a long, painful fight. The best remedy at the time was rest, fresh air, and hope. That's great.
Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams.
And some belly button lint.
Yeah. So unfortunately, most of the patients who came to the Trivette Clinic never left. It wasn't a place of healing. It became a place where people went to die. Dun, dun, dun. So we're not talking just about a few deaths here. We're talking about a lot of suffering on one building. Patients were isolated from their families, coughing their lungs out, literally wasting away. So this is where it gets really eerie. Dr. Trivette, the man who built the clinic with his hopes and dreams of helping people, never really got to see his vision succeed. And why? Because in 1938, just 6 years after opening the clinic, he suffered a heart attack and died. But here's the kicker. After all of that, he wasn't at the Trivette Clinic when it happened. He was at another medical facility in Asheville. So the man who created a hospital didn't even get to get treated in his own.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's just the irony of that. After his death, the clinic started to decline, and it was still operating, but without its founder, it didn't have the same leadership. Eventually, it shut down as a hospital, but that didn't mean the building sat empty. It was about to enter a whole new chapter of tragedy. So after the clinic closed, the building was repurposed. First, it became an orphanage. We don't have a lot of detailed record on this period, but we do know that many children lived there. If history had taught us anything about old orphanages, they weren't exactly happy places, harsh conditions, overcrowding, and who knows what kind of emotional trauma was left behind. And because this place couldn't catch a break, it gets turned into a nursing home. So we have a building that's already seen overwhelming amount of death from tuberculosis, followed by an orphanage full of children. It became a place where the elderly residents would go to live out their last days. So if you believe in residual energy, then you know this place is saturated with it. So the nursing home didn't last forever, although eventually the building was shut down for a while. It sat empty there, decaying, full of memories. And of course, when you leave a place that has that much history untouched in it, it starts to attract stories. Many people began reporting strange instances, whispering when nobody was there, footsteps in the hall, shadows moving where they shouldn't be. Paranormal investigators took notice, and before long, the Trivette Clinic became known as one of North Carolina's most haunted locations. So today, it is a privately owned and operated as a paranormal investigation site. People from all over come to experience the energy inside. Some claim to hear coughing like TB patients still lingering in the air. Others have reported seeing full body apparitions of nurses and patients, as if the clinic never truly closed its doors. So there it is.
It's got layers. I like locations that have layers, and like I'm really excited for, I know we can't really talk about it too much yet, but I'm really excited for Rachel's very first paranormal experience because it's a layer location. It is 100% a layer location. So like what's really cool about places like this is you get a lot of evidence from different time periods and different events. So like there's a lot of the times there's a lot of different artifacts. There's a lot of different history. There's a lot of different ways to kind of get validation on whatever you pick up on and things that you catch on camera and video. Like it's not just like, and this is not to downplay a singular ghost like haunting a location or, you know, whatever's there. But I just think it's really neat to see how different energies and different spirits kind of intermingle in a single location. Like how one place can hold so much energy like that is really, I mean, it's fascinating.
And
like you're gonna see Rachel.
I can't wait.
I'm excited. And it's gonna be new for her too, and for us too, because when we go in, from what we watched from the new season episode, there's like heavier energy that they said, and there's also I think new energy, so she'll be seeing layers as well, but we'll also be seeing new things too coming back. I feel like we always come back and see something like new, so it's never really like the same experience.
Yeah, and I think also the energy that you're with, like I'm really excited. Thanks Danger, thanks for stopping by and checking in. So keep up the great work. Thanks. But I think what's really cool is like if I could go, like, you ever do something for the very first time and it's just so much fun because it's your very first time. Like, you don't know what to expect. You have adrenaline. It's exciting. And it's like, if I could replay my very first official investigation, I feel like that night was so magical. We were so tired, 100,000%. We were just drained. But it was like just getting there and the anticipation and picking up stuff and getting validation, and like I'm like really excited for that part of it for Rachel, because I think like your very first investigation is going to be like, okay, now, like I remember how excited you were in Salem when you guys were doing the tour. And I'm like, now picture that, but like times 20,000, because you're going to have like equipment. Yeah, like you're going to have equipment, you're going to get to check things out, you're going to get to kind of like feel things out and see things, and like you know, and there may not be like a ton of like outright activity, but there's definitely going to be things that like, I'm big on like trusting your body. So like using your body as like a gauge. So if you walk into a room and you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like I feel really weird here. Write that down. Like bring a notebook, jot things down, take it in. Like it's really cool. So I think that like as far as like layer locations, that's probably what makes the Trivette Clinic another one of those like really cool hotspots, because, you know, hearing about its transition from like, this is what it started as, and it kind of went from this to this to this, like it's seen a lot of death. It's seen a lot of different turmoil and suffering. And like, I don't know, that adds a lot to the melting pot of like stuff going on there. So my goodness. That brings me to the haunting part of the Trivette Clinic. So as we talked about, the Trivette Clinic is in Hamptonville, North Carolina. And the reason it's considered super haunted is due to its long and complex history, which includes illness, death, and periods of intense human suffering, which we just kind of touched upon. A lot of paranormal investigators and visitors do believe that the residual energy from past events linger within its walls, leading to numerous reports of ghostly activity. So let's get into some of the reasons for the haunting. So we heard Rachel kind of give us the powwow on the history of Trivette. Let's start with the medical tragedies and the deaths that occurred here. So as we know, a place doesn't always have to be haunted based off of people actually dying on the premises. I mean, it could be elemental. It could be, I mean, there's a ton of things that a haunting can be related to. But obviously with the Trivette clinics, tons of malpractices and the deaths that took place, whether it was just, you know, from disease or from these malpractices. The Trivette Clinic, like we said, operated as a medical facility from 1932 to 1939 and was one of the most modern rural hospitals of its time. So given the limited medical advancements of the era, as per usual, and what we've seen even with mental health facilities that were doing a lot of medical malpractice, it's believed that many people died here, including those that were undergoing surgeries, x-rays, treatments, and radium therapy. So Dr. William Amos Trivette, he died of pneumonia in 1938, which some believe left a lasting imprint on the building. So he's what they would consider a residual haunting. And so there have been, you know, some reports of that. The basement, though, reportedly held the bodies that awaited removal. So they think that that's another layer, potentially adding to more residual energy. So the more that we've read about this kind of came to me as a very layered residual haunting. So I feel like from what I've seen, and I really would have to kind of go there and investigate to see for myself, but a lot of the stories that I read in our research kind of said like the ghosts tend to just be stuck in a residual loop and are kind of just doing their thing and not really like interacting with each other or with others. But then there are some ghosts there that are not really considered a residual haunting and are interactive with the people that go and investigate. So during its time as a detox center and nursing home, after the clinic closed, it was repurposed as an alcohol detoxification center in the 1940s. This likely saw a lot of patients in distress because they were going through withdrawal symptoms and even deaths due to alcohol-related conditions. So, you know, cirrhosis of the liver, people going through withdrawal, believe it or not. A lot of people think, oh, you just go through withdrawal and, you know, you get out of your system. It's a horrible 3-4 days, whatever. But people can literally go into medical distress due to withdrawal and can die in the withdrawal process. So a lot of people who were already in a fragile physical state, if they're just kind of thrown into a holding area or a room and they're like, hey, we're just detoxing you, because I mean things were very different then than they were now. They're going through they're just raw dog in life. Like they're just literally like they're just getting it out of their system, and some people's bodies just like at that, they just couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
They were not in the state to handle just a raw withdrawal process. In the 1950s, it then became a nursing home, as Rachel had stated. So these were where a lot of the elderly patients may have experienced a lot of prolonged suffering and end-of-life transitions. So the locations where people would endure prolonged sickness, a lot of mental anguish, or death are often considered the hotspots for hauntings due to the energy that's been left behind, obviously. Let's get into a little bit about the paranormal entities and reported spirits from these events that kind of took place. So numerous spirits, I think it was, did anyone look? I think it was like over 70. They say that there's about 70 spirits, right?
Yeah, 70.
Joshua. So they said there's about about 70 spirits, possibly even more than that are residing here. And that's a lot for people to have on record. And kind of say like, yeah, like this is documented that there's this many. So investigators have reported voices, apparitions, and poltergeist-like activity. Some of the most commonly encountered spirits include a little girl named Majesty. So she's a little girl that's said to reside in the basement, and she's known for interacting with investigators and moving objects. So if I remember correctly, she's the one that's known for the ball. She interacts very often with a ball. And so there is some video documentation of her, investigators holding out a ball and her kind of moving it around or her pushing it around on the floor. So I thought that was really cool. There's also 2 nurses by the name of Helen and Polly. So ghostly apparitions of 2 nurses who reportedly still tend to the patients as if reliving their duties from when the clinic was operational. You know, people have seen them all the time, just kind of going about, again, very residual, doing their thing, not really interacting, but tending to patients that are obviously not there anymore. The next one that we have is Philip. So there's a male entity believed to be connected to the operating room, and he's known for making noises, moving objects, and creating a sense of unease. So, yeah, it's spooky. Then we have Jimmy, who's a young boy spirit who is believed to roam the building, sometimes responding to investigators' attempts to communicate. Unknown patients that they haven't really documented. There's a lot of shadow figures and fleeting apparitions that have been reported, leading to speculation that former patients are obviously still present and like doing their thing. Taylor, I can't focus saying this. What is happening?
Listen, listen, okay, I'm gonna go back
up on my phone underneath me, and it's popping up on my computer screen, and I'm like,
I'm gonna go back and watch our video after this is over. But
Taylor always catches like the video ghost.
10 minutes ago, at least 5-10 minutes ago, I don't remember who's talking, but it was a few minutes before I texted. I heard a male voice, and I heard it come from Rachel, and I thought, because Rachel looked over, so I thought that somebody was down wherever
Zach?
you were.
It's just me.
We gotta investigate Rachel's house.
I don't know. I did hear. It sounded like clear as day. I didn't hear a word, but it sounded like a male's voice.
No.
Okay. Cool. Nope. Glad. So happy.
Interesting. So yeah. So we're gonna add that to our list of spirits. No, but yeah, so obviously, as we know, there is, there's a lot of spirits that have been recorded, like we said, over 70. Oh my goodness. Over 70. And a lot of that is contributed to just miscellaneous patients. People have died there that are just unfortunately still kind of stuck in that loop and are still, living there. Paranormal researchers obviously believe that trauma, suffering, and death can leave a permanent energy imprint on location. So, obviously, given the clinic's history as a hospital, detox center, and nursing home, it has just seen a lot of pain, loss, and unresolved emotions, which absolutely are contributing to its haunted reputation. So, I'd love to hear from people who have investigated there. If you've ever been to the Trivette Clinic, if you want to let us know what you have experienced there. A lot of the investigation reports are flashlights turning on and off. Did you get that? Disembodied voices and a lot of EVPs. If you've got that, that would be really cool. And objects moving and doors slamming on their own. So let us know if you've investigated there and if you've gotten any of these things.
The most common one I was seeing that people hear a lot of coughing.
Which would make sense.
It makes sense, but that was one of the most common ones that was kind of
I'm gonna share a quick clip. Let me see.
If I was a ghost, that would be me just clearing my throat and coughing every 10 seconds.
I would be so annoyed if that was me in the afterlife, though. Like, I would be like, this is where I'm spending eternity coughing.
Oh my God.
I'd be so annoyed. So this is the clip.
I'm Brett Clark, and if you know me, which you don't, you know a couple of things I enjoy.
Yes, I
Ghosts and booze. That's why I made it a point to quit everything I'm doing.
A bar or pub, but they do have a bar in the basement.
So you can kind of see the Trivette Clinic and what it looks like.
Tim Trivette, and we're at the Trivette Clinic in Hamptonville, North Carolina.
Now you're Trivette. You're
Yes.
family.
Yeah, he would. I think if you actually counted it back, he would be like my ninth cousin.
Okay.
He'd be like way on back.
Well, now tell us about the Trivette.
It was actually built in 1932 by Dr. Trivette, and he came back here to take care of his parents when they were getting older. He had started seeing patients. He lived in the house next door to the clinic, and he had started seeing patients there. And I guess the business grew so much that he decided to build a hospital here. It was a full-service hospital. They had x-ray equipment here, which for 1932 out in the middle of nowhere, that was pretty high-tech. But they did surgeries here. Babies were born here.
The nurses had...
Their names were in the floor.
That's
the
right.
Side of the wood stove, Polly, Letha, Cindy, and Helen, which they were working for Dr. Trivette next door. So when he started building the clinic, they come over and wrote their names in the floor, the date. And it was open for 6 years. He died in 1938 from pneumonia when he was 50 years old. And then the hospital closed in 39. And then it was reopened in 1945 as a supper club, a detox center, and a nursing home by a couple from Massachusetts. And then after Leo died, Mary and Leo Rivers, after Leo died, Mary turned it into a nursing home. So it was a nursing home up to the late 50s.
Okay. So how long was it a detox center?
I'm not really sure. It would have been during the time. I don't know if they did all of the things at the same time, the supper club, detox center.
Okay, see that. So sorry, spirits, if this is Haunt Hops, we've got some liquor here, but we're not drinking anything. Dr. Trivette, did he live on the property or
he
did
lived in the house next door?
Okay.
To the property. The hospital had actually grown so much though that he had added an addition onto the main building. So when you come down the walkway, there's a little rock arch, and that was going to be the entrance to the new wing of the hospital.
There's some hauntings that have happened here. Is that the same archway? Tim, you mentioned something that had occurred.
I saw like a gray mist, which actually looked like somebody walking past the archway. Yeah.
What was that like in daylight or was that?
No, it was in the evening, late evening. Yeah.
We're sitting in the room the basement was divided up into different rooms. So this would have been the room where they kept the mental patients. And Tim took the chains off the wall.
Wait a minute.
It actually has shackles on the wall, the metal bands that locked on your wrist and your ankles, which I wish we still had them, but the man from Switzerland that did own the place, he had all that stuff took out when he bought it.
Okay. That's,
One of the first ghosts that we knew about was the little girl Majesty.
That's an interesting name.
Tim's, you want to tell them the story? Tim's great niece introduced us to Majesty.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, my sisters was having a yard sale out in front of the building, and my great niece was with her. And she kept going to the door and playing patty cake. And then she come in the house and done it on the walls. And when she come back out there, her mama said, Kayla, what happened? And she said, that little girl had to go upstairs and go to bed, Mama.
Oh, no way.
Kayla was only like 4 years old at the time. Oh, wow. But if you ask her now, she'll still tell you Majesty's real and that she stays here, which Kayla's probably, what, 19 now or something? Yeah, it's been a long time.
Does she still remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll tell her friends that Majesty stays here.
Really?
Yeah.
Has she, just out of curiosity, has she been back here?
Yeah, she's been here a few times after that.
That name, Majesty, that's an interesting name.
Yeah,
that's
she wouldn't tell nobody what the little girl's name was for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then she finally told her mama her name was Majesty.
Majesty will play ball with you. And Tim's sister had picked the ball up, and we were in the waiting room upstairs, and she was holding the ball between her hands. And all of a sudden, she says, "Come on, Majesty, I'm Kaylee's grandma. You want to play ball?" And all of a sudden, the ball starts vibrating between her hands, like it's bouncing back and forth between her hands. And then all of a sudden, the ball flies across the room. Oh, and needless to say, Kaylee's grandmother doesn't like this place anymore.
I do have to say, I've got a camera rolling in, which I've heard is the most active area, which is that upstairs hallway. So if anybody sees anything, let me know. Tell me about that hallway. What's been going on there?
It's just over the years, when we've done our ghost tours, we'll let everybody sit around in the hallway and put little flashlights in the different rooms so we can talk to the ghost and let the ghost turn the little flashlights on and communicate like that. And then we started doing dowsing rods, and it was amazing. There was one ghost, we think his name's Eric, and complete strangers would be here doing their ghost tours, and they could hold the dowsing rods, and they would ask questions, and they would ask the dowsing rods to point to people in their group, people we didn't know the people's names or anything, and the dowsing rods would actually point out to the different individuals in the group.
The maternity, which room was that?
That's the room with Emily's wardrobe. She's the little 3-year-old girl that came with the wardrobe that somebody gave us. She'll open the door for you sometimes.
Has it happened on command, or is it one of those things where it just...
Sometimes you can ask her to open and it will, but a lot of times people will just be standing in the room and the doorway will open, which is a good experience for them.
Nice.
Needless to say, they don't stay there very long when the door opens, but
the red room is on the other end of the hall up there, and so tell me about
this
that.
Is pretty
picture.
big.
How did that come to be?
We were having a ghost hunt one day, just a public ghost hunt, and James Milby with CAPS, he's here a lot to help us. It's a ghost hunting group, paranormal group, and the people were in the room looking around. They were looking at the wardrobe near the front window, and he just stuck his phone in the door and took the picture. And he was in the hallway. He just sticks his phone in the room and takes a picture and looks at it and he says, "Hey guys, y'all are looking in the wrong place. She's behind you."
Oh no. He just did one of those little Oh wow. That is a creepy photo. I think there was the little boy.
And that was another random shot. We had people here during October during our ghost tours. And I recommend everybody to take pictures when you're here because you never know what you're going to get. So the lady was in the hallway and she just took a picture into the room and she got the image of the little boy standing in front of the window.
That picture that's like
wild.
One of the rare photos that I've seen that where people will show you a picture and say, especially if it's a shot from a window, and they'll say, "Look at that window. What do you see?" And it's like if you really squint your eyes, you'll be like, "Yeah, maybe I see a face," but this picture is no
the
doubt.
The boys in period clothes.
Exactly. That is a
cool.
wild photo.
Crazy.
So that was a lot. I know it's a little bit of a winded clip, but I thought it showed some really cool evidence of people that have just kind of effortlessly, he said, the guy just stuck his phone out in the hallway, snapped a picture, and he got that woman standing there, and then another person took a picture, and so it's a hot spot for paranormal activity. So it's definitely going on the bucket list.
That's pretty cool.
Crazy.
It's interesting. So interesting. So yeah. that's pretty much what I had as far as the like haunting aspect of it is. I have one more clip that I will just show you guys of them doing a ball demonstration with Majesty. It's nothing like too crazy, but I just thought it was interesting just to kind of to back that up of, you know, how the investigations look when people are trying to interact.
Oh, I saw this one. This one's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't, like I said, nothing like super crazy, but I mean, if you're looking for evidence, I mean, you could see her palm is pretty flat and it hadn't been moving for how long, and then all of a sudden just takes off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I mean, I think it's safe to say that the Trivette Clinic is quite haunted.
Let's go. You want to pack up and go?
I want to go. I do want to go.
Seems like a really cool place.
Oh my God, Morgan.
But yeah, so this is where things get interesting and fun, and Taylor has some fun stuff lined up for us at the end of our Trivette Clinic segment. Taylor,
So we're gonna start off by playing a little game, and Morgan and Rachel, we get there. I have 4 clips, and you guys have to figure out whether it's an actual EVP from Trivette Clinic or if it's something fake, whether it's like a sound effect or something like made up or and whatnot. So,
okay,
I'm gonna play the first one, and it's all audio, so you guys can't see anything. But we're gonna start out with this one. See if I can pull it up.
and in the meantime, hey to all of our friends on Instagram. I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi before. I'm going between 2 screens, but Sean, Jeff, Zach, got female vamp, our friends from My Haunted Hotel, Danger, Taylor. So we and it's Taylor Complains, not Taylor that's on the podcast right now.
Okay.
Thanks for the view, Taylor.
Yeah, I was like, she's
Right.
probably gonna think like, oh, Morgan, why did you just say that? I'm right here.
I was thinking it was hopefully somebody else. All right, so this is the first one. You have to listen to it. I'm gonna play it like 2 or 3 times because it's only like 2 seconds long.
All right, so actual EVP or creepypasta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
One more. You don't hear it?
No.
Oh, god damn. All right, hold on.
Try it again. Try it again. I thought I heard something.
I don't think so.
Hear it?
I hear like faint, like.
Can you? Are you're screen sharing?
Yeah.
Uh,
But you can see it though, right?
Can you upload them into the media things?
Okay.
If you go to it's like add audio, add music.
I think only you can add music. Damn.
If you comments, banners, media assets, style.
See, I thought I was gonna have this. I had it all set up. I was like, guys, we got this. We can do this.
It's all right. We're gonna have a quick intermission.
Yeah.
This is not planned.
There it is. Hey, you want to see the haunted house my dad was talking about?
Yeah. Morgan, I might have to send them to you.
There it is.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're just intermission. So we figure this EVP or creepypasta. All right, let's see what else we got.
Emotional damage.
There it is.
Oh, that's just an audio
Christ.
clip for us.
All right, let me see if I can share my screen instead of just sharing the tab.
Yeah. Do the screen. Because that should share all your audio.
That's true.
I
can't.
Alright,
Okay.
alright, we're getting serious.
Christ.
We're getting serious.
Can you guys trying to come this up? Can you guys see this? I mean, it's not that it matters, but all right, ready? Hopefully, this works.
Ready.
You heard that? Okay, good.
Let
Okay,
me
good.
in.
All right, I'm gonna play one more time.
It was like, let me. Yeah.
Oh man.
Should we do it one more time, or do you
I'm
think you got
torn
it?
because I think I saw something that said they hear a lot of "help me" or "let me out" or.
Oh, A+ for Rachel for listening, because I missed that. All right.
All right, I'll play it one more time.
Oh, you gotta hit the buzzer. We need like a buzzer.
Trivette
Clinic.
One more time.
Wait, why the fuck am I listening to my computer speaker? I have a headset on. I just did what Rachel did. I was like, I don't need to lean in. The speakers are attached to my ears.
I don't know because I read somewhere.
That's all the guesses you get.
Here.
I think.
Oh, I almost left.
Listen,
oh my
God. That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Trivette Clinic.
Rachel, what do you think?
Oh God, I'm so torn because it's so clear that it's like I don't know if it's too clear. I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
I'm gonna say Trivette Clinic.
So it is Trivette Clinic. However, I actually thought it was interesting that you guys picked it up too, because when I first listened to it, the people that actually played the video, they heard it say 5 a.m. But when I kept listening back to it, I kept hearing "Let me in."
Let me in.
Yeah. So when
Which
you
is really
to
like
it,
creepy.
Yeah.
Like if a ghost says to me like "Let me in," I'm be like, "How about no? Sorry, but not today."
It was too good to be true.
The first thing you're told as a child is you never invited in a vampire.
Yeah, right.
No, nobody else. Nobody else learned that. It wasn't like.
No.
Well, I thought quicksand was going to be more of a problem than it actually was. So I'm glad both of those things have proven not very problematic in my adult life.
Her Hotel Transylvania phase right now, where she has watched those movies over and over, and she'll come in wearing a blanket like this over her face. She's like, I'm like, oh my God, we've seen those.
I love Peach so much.
1,000 times.
That's so funny though.
She is on it though.
I would never be a vampire target because I eat way too much garlic.
I can't with you. All right, ready?
Okay.
Where are you? Where are you?
Creepypasta. Creepypasta.
Where are you?
All right, I'm only gonna play that twice, and I want Rachel to guess first, since Morgan, you guessed first the last time.
I thought we were just buzzing it.
I know, but I want her to guess, and then you guess.
I say no.
Okay.
Creepypasta.
Okay. Yeah. It actually is a clip from somebody playing Phasmophobia. That's why I wanted Rachel to answer first, because I knew Morgan was gonna fucking figure it out.
Oh, I know. I didn't even connect that. That makes so much sense, though, because I was like, I don't sound familiar.
Yeah. I was thinking that you were gonna figure it out first.
That's hilarious.
No, I didn't. I had no idea that was connected to Phasmophobia. Shame on me. I should have known that.
Okay.
All right, next one's buzzer round. Get your buzzer hand ready.
Oh shit, not that one. Okay.
Bro, I got wrinkles. I'm gonna Ed gain my face, I swear to God.
Oh God. Oh God. What happened?
Oh.
All right, right. This one's really quick, so you have to listen to this one. Okay.
Whoa.
Play it again.
Oh boy. One more time? One more time? I feel like that's pee-pee pasta.
Yeah. I feel like "get out" is just the coin phrase.
Pee-pee pasta.
Yeah.
If it's Trivette Clinic, I might shit.
It is Trivette Clinic.
Ah!
It's somebody. I'll play it one more time, but it's somebody saying "Get out."
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. Which is really creepy.
That's like,
Get out.
Get out.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't know about
last
that.
one. Well, this one's my last one, but this one is a little bit longer, so you have to listen carefully.
I think my goddaughter's watching. Hi, Danny, if you're watching.
Okay. So, like I said, this one's a little bit longer, but
Surprise audio clip. This is a surprise.
it
Yeah,
is
this is a surprise.
Okay, ready?
Is it really fucking scary? Why'd you say it like
No.
that?
No, I swear to God, it's not. I swear.
Your mother's in here with us, Harris. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure that she gets it.
Yes, Mom, will you get
What
out
a
of
fucking asshole.
You're no fun. I'm working.
See you later, Mr. Harris.
You're so stupid.
Shall I play it again?
I was like, what the hell? And I was like, wait a minute. I've been bamboozled. This is neither. This is even fucking creepy pasta. Play it for Rachel. I'm gonna let Rachel have this one because I already know.
What is this?
What?
So what is this?
I'm gonna get the clip ready because we're gonna have to explain this one to Rachel.
Oh Lord.
Oh no. Rachel, you've never seen that?
I don't know what it is.
It's from Scary Movie.
Oh.
It's so funny.
So here's the thing.
Like, the power of Christ compel you. It's really not that compelling.
When I was trying to pick another one, I was like, do I want to either scare the shit out of them and do like a really scary like jump scare sound, or do I want to do this? Because I thought of that and I was like,
it scared me at first, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, what is that? And then I was like, Taylor, you raggedy bitch. I'm like, I know exactly what this sound is.
We just saw the other day. Remember those YouTube videos where the car would drive and you're supposed to watch it, and then like the zombie pops up?
I fucking hated that thing.
I think we should show Peach that, and I said, I think we should not.
Don't traumatize her.
Can I tell you?
No.
Can I tell you? There's a new one that got me so bad the other day. I hit myself in the face with the phone.
No.
Because I was watching it like this, and I went like this and just like freaked out, dropped it, cracked myself right over the nose because it was like a spider. And the guy is like it looks like one of those. It was on TikTok. It just looked like a TikTok video. I was like doom scrolling, and he like is like there's like a cage, and it looks like he's just feeding them. You've seen those before, right? Where they have like just random insects and stuff. So it looked like one of those. So I'm watching it, and he's like, yeah, he's sleeping in here, and and like so the cave, and then all of a sudden, like he lifts up the cave, and this thing shoots out, and there's this noise. I shit. I was so scared. It scared me. But we have to. Let me just get through the ads on this, and then I'm gonna share screen.
That's fine. Well, while you're pulling that up, we can slowly dive into the would you rather's. So I have 3 would you rather questions, and I can ask the first one, and then we'll watch the clip if you want.
That sounds good.
Just don't get flagged for copyright.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll have to fight with them again.
Yeah.
Oh God. Wasn't it the same movie that we watched the last time too,
that
or
was
no?
SNL.
SNL.
Oh, that's what it was. SNL. Yeah. All right. So, would you rather be scratched in the red room at Trivette Clinic by the unseen entities, or would you rather witness meeting David, the grumpy male spirit who doesn't like to be bothered there?
David.
Grumpy man.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be scratched because we're gonna have a problem.
That's true.
It's not even a matter of being scared. Me and that ghost are gonna have some beef. Like I'm gonna be like,
"Hey, you trying to fight?
You trying to fight or no? Because we don't scratch people." All right, next one. Rapid fire.
Okay. So for both of these, you're alone. So nobody else is in the clinic with you. You're by yourself. Would you rather spend the night there sleeping in the basement with Majesty, the little ghost girl? Or would you rather sleep in the bedroom upstairs that's haunted by the little girl who continuously opens and closes the wardrobe door?
I think the fun girl.
So think about it. Majesty plays with the ball.
Yeah.
This other girl plays with the door. I don't like either, so I don't really know which one I would pick.
Probably Majesty, because I mean, like Door Girl, we don't know her story, and like
I don't know her.
Nobody's really. Yeah, I don't know her. I don't know her like that.
I'd be terrified either way to see a ball rolling across the floor or hearing the door slam. I mean, as long as the little girl who's slamming the wardrobe door got a beat going down, then at least maybe I'd be okay. But you know,
like the basketball beat from Scary Movie.
Yeah. Me and my sister dance to that shit all the time, and my mom thinks it's the funniest thing.
It's the greatest. It's a bop.
It is. All right, my last one I got. Would you rather get locked in a room? What?
Got a spam comment down here. You want some cheap viewers?
Absolutely not touching sweeteners. You're getting reported. You're getting reported. Cheap viewers on Stream Boo? How about Stream No? Get the fuck out of here. Idiot. I can't stand spammers. Like, get off my feed.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and of course it's on Twitch. All right.
Oh, your dad said scratched. One. You'd rather be scratched.
You get scratched? Masochist. All right. Would you rather get locked in a room with a spirit that only communicates... This one was a funny one. Who only communicates through interpretive dance, or one that insists on telling you spooky stories but keeps messing up the endings?
No, interpretive dance. That's that's a no-brainer. I recently watched this clip and it had me dying from a video game. I don't know what game it is. I can't figure it out. And the guy is like, he's like back, like his character in the video game is like back, and it's like a nun, and it's in the door frame, and it's like this, and it's just like talking to him and like trying to lure him in, and he's like, what is happening right now?
About the gamer?
She starts doing like this booty dance, and they're like,
wait, are you talking about Swole? He's a video gamer.
I don't know. I don't know who. I've never seen it before. I just know.
Was it a video game though?
Yeah,
it was Swole. I watched him. That video is the reason why I got into watching him in the first place, because of that.
Oh yeah, scene. Soul. That's it.
It scares the shit out of him, but he thought it was also hilarious.
I literally have to show you guys this because I was cracking. Funny. I was cracking up. Like I was like, why? Why is he doing that? Like,
is the whole reason why I started watching him religiously.
Like it was so funny. Like just. Like, I couldn't even be scared because I was like, what the hell?
It was so funny.
I'm opening it so I can...
I would have to say, though, I would rather the spooky stories, because I feel like I'd be terrified of the interpretive dancing because it's not going to talk to you. And I feel like if I saw a ghost in the hallway or wherever just, like, slowly dancing, I feel like that would just be terrifying to watch. Whereas at least the spooky stories, you start getting annoyed. Yes, Swole. I love Swole.
I was dying at this. Like, Rachel, could you take this seriously?
It's so
Hold on,
funny.
just wait for it.
I'm afraid to move.
This is the part that gets me when she starts doing this.
Okay, her back is turned. Let's get out of here. Oh, I think it's gone.
Like, this is what I feel like ghost hunting with Taylor. This is literally what it's like ghost hunting with Taylor. She just pops out from behind a wall, and you're just like, what are you doing, Taylor?
Your move.
Bitch.
So right now. Please leave me alone. She's in bed.
Literally, that's Taylor. Taylor, this is you. I'm like, Taylor, where are you? And she's just like,
hey.
No, but this is okay. So quick, this is the clip that we were talking about, Rachel. So I gotta find.
Oh my god, it was like. No, you gotta go further in.
Just look at this. Father, think of the children.
That would be me as an exorcist.
It's like shortly after that, yeah. It's when he's the one with the black hairs at the end of the bed. This part.
Holy Lord.
Mother's in here with us, Harris. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure that she gets it.
Yes, Mom. Will you get out of there, please? You're no fun. I'm working.
See you later, Mrs. Harris.
Holy Lord, Almighty Father, and Everlasting God and Father of our
I don't
Lord
think we can
Jesus
show
Christ.
that part, Morgan.
No, we can't. I was just getting ready to turn it off.
off.
I was trying to see. If I couldn't remember if it was when he's like the power of Christ compels you, and I was like, is that before or after the dirty part?
No, you're thinking of
Wait, what was that from?
No, you're thinking of the This Is the End movie with Jonah Hill and.
I thought that was in
what's his
Scary
name?
Movie though. When he's like,
No, because I think what you're thinking of is the Christ compels you, and he goes, "Does it, Jay? Does it really?" I don't think.
That's what I'm
That's
thinking
from
of.
This Is, or
Yes.
I think it's called This Is the End because that's
Oh
Jonah Hill
damn,
saying
damn.
it.
Okay, I don't know why I thought that was Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny scene. So as soon as I heard it, I was like, Taylor.
That's hilarious.
That's one of my favorite scenes to quote all the time.
So yeah. So Taylor, do you have any more fun stuff for us?
I was just gonna end it on a haunted hot take. So I was gonna see what you guys felt about like giving your, as you put it, spiciest paranormal take. So something that I said that I had to write it down. Something that I said that I feel is true is that poltergeists are just petty ghosts with ADHD. So they don't curse you or drag you to the underworld. They just knock over cups, misplace your keys, and randomly slam a door for attention, if you think about it.
That is pretty funny. That's pretty spot on.
I like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm putting you guys on the spot to see if you guys have one. I should have had you come up with
I feel like my universal one is not everything's a demon. Everybody's like, it's a demon. Or they're like, oh, something growled. It's a demon. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, how do you know there wasn't a rabid raccoon under that, like, 30-year-old abandoned hospital? Like, 30 years is a long time for something to be abandoned. There's probably an animal or, like... And just because it growls doesn't mean that it's like, a demon. Because, like, I growl. And I'm only, like, 30% a demon. It happens.
99% of the time.
99% of the time.
Rachel, you got any good ones?
I think just because I was talking about this the other day, I think whatever you die in is your ghost outfit forever.
Ooh.
That's really scary thinking about how I exist most days. Like, what if I have a heart attack in one of my, like, day 3, like, no shower outfits? Like, that's terrible. I don't want to live in that.
What if somebody dies naked? Like, what if you died in the shower? Or you went to bed naked? Does that mean you walked in butt naked?
Imagine you just like a sim. Like, you know how Sims, when they're naked, they just look like they're wearing a morph suit, like a tan morph suit? Mm-hmm. What if that's like God's way of, like, censoring?
Probably. You look blurry.
Yeah, like he's just like, hey, you get to heaven, and it's like, we can't really have you working around you can't have you walking around your birth suit, so we're gonna need you to put this on. And it's just like a tan morph suit.
Maybe that's where the white sheet comes from. Where if you die naked,
are those naked ghosts?
You get the white sheet.
Every time I see a regular, just good old white sheet ghost, I'm gonna be like, that's the ghost of the naked variety.
This on here?
That's a naked ghost. Like, how do you know that? Well, Rachel was telling us. Rachel said,
if I die naked and I'm a naked ghost, I'm gonna go walking around singing that Vine, "Bud naked Nessie or nah." Can you make it Bud naked Nessie or nah?
I forgot about that. You just unlocked the memory.
Oh, I do that all the time. Except, like, I do a little dance with it. You know, like the kid goes, "Bud naked Nessie or nah."
Wasn't it that little kid? And he was like,
yes,
he was doing a little, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just at an hour ish. We're doing real good.
We are doing real good. And we have enough time to share these spooky stories that I picked out from Reddit. So I have about like 5 of them, but they are pretty good. So the first one that I have was so this is from, I really hate these Reddit nicknames, so don't judge me. This is from the Flaming Peacock on Reddit. He said, he or she, I'm not really sure. On one of my old floors I worked on, we always had weird occurrences happen at night. It was a neuro step-down unit. The unit had glass walls so you could chart and monitor your patient. And we had a patient who had a severe stroke and was nonverbal. Feeding tube, restrained, total care, etc. They rarely had family visit too. In the middle of the night, their call light went off. When I answered it, a woman said, "He is really hurting and he needs his pain medicine." So I walked into the room to check on him. The room is dark, nobody's in there, and the patient is sleeping. I tell his nurse what happened, and I go and I sit back down at the CN desk. The call light goes off again. It is his room. Same voice, "Please, he's really hurting." And I get up and walk back to the room, same story. I tell his nurse, and she gives him pain medicine through his peg, and we reposition him in bed. The call light does not go off again, and it was really eerie. Strange things happened on that floor all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, spooky.
Spooky.
Patrick said, "Does it, Jay? Does it compel me?"
Shut
up, Patrick.
Shut the heck up.
Shut the heck up.
That's his favorite line.
Let me see. All right, so this is the next one. So it says, one night in an old psychiatric hospital. Oh, so this is by Mitch Wren, 1298. One night in an old psychiatric hospital, as in built in the 1800s, a tech and I were the only ones up. Every patient seemed to be asleep. We checked every 15 minutes. Anyway, I was sitting outside the office door. Oh, hold on, quick young break. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I was sitting outside the office door, and she was sitting at the back of the very small office eating her soup. The other office door to our side suddenly opened and closed, and then the small restroom door in our office closed. Neither one of us said anything for about a full minute. Then Bosley, fuck. Holy shit.
Morgan's heart is currently in her seat.
Because he's like a panther. You don't hear him, and all of a sudden he just I saw this shadow emerge from the side of me, and I was like, "The fuck is that?" Okay, anyways. Okay. All right, so basically they were sitting in their office, and it looked like somebody had just walked into the office and went to use the restroom. Like the doors just opened, like somebody was going through that motion, and then they didn't say anything for about a full minute. Then she asked her if it had just happened. I'm so tired. She sighed with relief and said yes, it had, and that she was glad she wasn't losing her mind. I guess the ghost needed to use the restroom in a hurry, and maybe it was a former nurse or tech that had worked there. So that's the second one. Some of these were giving me the heebie-jeebies. This one is by Jumbotron Deluxe. I used to work on a floor back in the day.
Oh, no.
I had a patient who was being discharged the next morning only on PRN pain meds. So for people that are not healthcare, terminology oriented, PRN just means as needed. So they were just on pain meds as needed. It wasn't super severe, and they hadn't had any mind altering all day. So no confusion, no anything that would make them not alert and oriented. So they go into his room at 3 a.m. and they ask him why he can't sleep. He says, "I'm not hurting or anything, and don't get me wrong, I love kids, but why are y'all letting children run around the unit so late?" So I asked what he was talking about. He said the kids in the dinosaur and cowboy costumes. I said I hadn't seen them, but I'll let the other staff know to send these kids back to their parents, thinking to myself, who the hell let them in here this late in the first place? I head back to the nurse's station and tell the charge, who has worked there for years. I tell him, hey, the dude in room XY said he can't sleep because some kids keep coming in his room. He looks at me and says, less alarmed than you'd expect. Oh, the kids in the dinosaur and cowboy costumes? I asked a couple of other more veteran staff, and they all had stories of patients telling them the same thing. If they were all messing with me, then half of the unit and my patient were phenomenal liars.
Wow.
I thought that one was spooky.
Very spooky.
Very spooky. So this one's like a 3-in-1. There are 3 kind of short experiences, but this one said, I haven't had any as a nurse, but when I was a night shift CNA in a locked residential behavioral unit, really old building, I had a few. I'm flailing. I'm flailing. So I had a resident who was presumably, some of these I didn't understand, but they were basically nonverbal, blank stare, like they were just not there with it at all. So they took care of her for about 2 years and never heard her talk even once. She was fairly young, 50s and ambulatory, but only if you led her around. So she didn't really get up unless somebody was kind of like leading her. One night I was stalking the room and it was pretty dark. I thought that she was sleeping. My back was turned, and from the bed, I heard a really low-toned voice say, "He's here for me." I startled and turned around quick to see her sitting up and looking directly at me, pointing to the opposite corner of the room. I was inwardly freaking out, and I just nodded and left, and came back the next night, and she had died.
I nodded. Oh my God.
I would throw up.
I would shit myself.
So
sleepy.
So sleepy. I'm not getting enough oxygen. I'm like concerned. I'm like, why am I yawning like this all of a sudden?
As she sips her soda.
If I stroke out on camera, it is what it is. Resident who was there for wandering behaviors due to dementia was a huge favorite among staff since he was so sweet. He called me Mija, and it had a very distinct voice. Unfortunately, likely had COVID at the very beginning of the pandemic before they had antigen tests available. So he went through all of the COVID, procedures, isolation, all that stuff, and he did recover, but developed pneumonia a few weeks later, and he passed away. So this nurse did the the CNA did the postmortem care, and a few days later, administration decided that the locked unit staff were to remain separate from the rest of the building due to COVID and converted the private room into the staff break room. It was a plastic table and a microwave. Anyway, I'm sitting there eating dinner at 2 a.m. when the hair on my arms stand up. I get up from the table and poke my head out into the hall, and I see no one. And very clearly over my shoulder, I hear Mija. Gave me chills, and I can't say whether it was my head or not, but it freaked me out. The next one was that she experienced was I had a resident who self-ambulated to the bathroom at night pretty frequently with a walker and his oxygen. We would listen and check on him when he was done. Another CNA and I were charting and talking in the hall around midnight when we heard him get up and go into the bathroom. Toilet flush, bedroom light turned on, and then she stops talking and turns white. The resident had died several days prior, and both of us realized at the same time that nobody was in the room, but the light was on and the bathroom door opened.
Nope.
Nope.
And then this is the final one. So this one kind of made me laugh a little bit because I feel like this is who I am as like a spiritual person when it comes to spirits. So Desperate Vintage wrote and said, I worked at a very nice nursing home for a while as a med tech CNA while I was in school. I worked in the memory care unit, genuinely well cared for, happy residents, clean facilities, the whole 9 yards. One of the residents, Mr. B, had been there since opening day, and he was very particular and liked things his way. He had his seat in the dining room. He got exactly 3 scoops of strawberry ice cream after dinner. He sat in his chair by his window until exactly 11:30. He was just a grumpy little cutie pie. Well, he inevitably died, and a new resident had moved in less than a week later with her own things, but her bed and armchair were in the same place as Mr. B's. Her first night... I have to take a breath. I was winded.
I thought you were about to yawn. I was like, she fighting that fucking yawn so hard.
No. I was like, I gotta take a deep breath because I was like, I did not pause. Her first night, I had done a round and was doing whatever dumb shit I did the night after the residents were in bed, washing, compression hose or something, and the new resident comes down the hall and said, there's a man in my room telling me to get out. We had a man who would sometimes wander, so I assumed it was him, and I went with her to her room to take him back to bed. Her room was empty. Assuming it was still him, I tucked her back in and went to find him. No one was up, and the wanderer was asleep in bed. Oh well, maybe she dreamed it. I went back to the desk and she came up again maybe 20 minutes later saying, he said to get out, that I'm in his room. I walked her back again, nothing. She points to her armchair and is like, he said to move my chair and put his back and get out of his room. At which point my brain put 2 and 2 together. I ended up letting her sit in the nurse's station with me until third shift showed up. The third shift CNA got there and started complaining about the new resident being up. I explained what happened. She rolled her eyes and said, "Come on." She stormed off down the hallway, muttering about my incompetence under her breath. She marched into the new resident's room and said, "Mr. B, you are dead. This is not your room anymore. Go on, and you let this poor woman sleep." The resident went to bed. I went home, and after that night, there were no more complaints of nighttime visitors from that resident.
Oh my
I
God.
felt kind of bad, but I didn't know how to exorcise ghosts. They didn't cover that in med tech class.
Exorcise the demon.
Wow.
Exorcise the demons. Yeah, so it like I thought that one was like my favorite because I was like, I could see the whole scenery. Like she's just annoyed having to come to work, and she's like, "Would you get the hell out of here? Like, get out. Let this woman sleep. You're dead. Goodbye. See you later, Bosley." So yeah, so he's like, "Wow." I'm like, "Stop." So yeah. So those are my spooky, scary skeletons.
I like it.
That is pretty spooky.
Yeah. So those are our haunted hospital-esque stories. You guys got some fun little games out of us and some Trivette Clinic history. If you like this episode and the style of this episode, let us know. I think this went swimmingly well. We kind of kept on top. Went very well.
Oh, before we go, we didn't get to share it the last time because I don't think we got it.
Oh.
We have to tell our fans.
Oh, yes. So, current events, we have Ghosted Magazine. We were featured in Ghosted Magazine. Taylor can hold it up because mine, I put it on my shelf. It's like packed in a nice envelope. I'm like trying to keep it as... So yeah, so we got featured in Ghosted Magazine. Huge shout out to Danger and April Bissett. We really appreciate you guys having us. This like article it wasn't even just like an article. It was like a 2-page spread. It was beautiful. Our logo, like I just couldn't have been happier with it. Lord knows I cried for like 4 or 5 days. Like I just like kept looking at it. I'm like, oh my God, it was really cool. So thank you so much for doing that.
And frame it in here.
I ordered my dad one because he collects, even though it's not Weird New Jersey, he collects all the Weird New Jerseys. So I'm like, I know it's not the same, but it's cool. So you can add it to your collection. So you have your daughter in your collection.
Yeah. It's really cool. It is really cool. So yeah, so that is a big announcement. And then I'm trying to think of anything else really kind of moving and shaking right now.
Oh, we set the date, right? We officially set it up.
Yeah, but I feel like we can't really not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Something's happening, but not yet.
Yeah, so it's in process. So we have something cool in process. We have a date for it, and we're gonna probably finalize. We're gonna finalize some stuff this weekend, and then probably by next episode we'll have a cool announcement for you guys, maybe even before that. So just keep an eye on our website and our socials, the ghoulfriendhourpodcast.com, and everything else is just the Ghoul Friend Hour. I'm sure if you search us up on Instagram or whatever, it'll all come up. We have a link tree also in our Instagram that'll take you everywhere you need to go. Remember, we have some cool merch. We have some really good candles. I'm trying to get more people to try out our candles because like Matt, we had one that had it was kind of a fail because the in route it got a little crack in the side, so I was like, well, this isn't sellable, so I was like, I'll just make it an office candle. So our Darkness Falls candle is by far, I think, my favorite scent. It's so good. It literally reminds me of the movie Darkness Falls, like that foresty, haunting, just ominous, I don't know, but it smells so good. There's something comforting about it. It's scary comforting. But it makes they last really long. They're made with coconut and apricot wax. So they have about, I think it was 110 hours. So this is another one that got broken en route.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we gotta crack the holder and get we're gonna take the wax out, make little wax melts out of it. Because these things smell so good. They burn forever. I think I had the Darkness Falls candle. It says 110 hours, but like I would light it in the morning when I got to my desk to work. So it's like 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock every day. And I did that for like 4 months, 3 months. And it was like still, like it burned clean, no soot. Like it was, I don't know. I really enjoy them. They're really high quality. So that's me like pushing our candles. I'm like, y'all get you some Ghoul for an Hour candles because they are on point. And the company that makes them is veteran owned, US owned and operated. They're just really cool people. Their customer service is on point. So like I just love partnering with them. And we are working on some really cool candles that are going to kind of have like a Victorian Gothic Nosferatu vibe to them with the Gypsy Blues. I think we've kind of nailed down a cool, yeah. I really want to say that like Nosferatu or no Nosferatu.
I can't listen to him because every time I hear his voice, my brain immediately goes, "You must bounce
crazy style."
I make Patrick and my dad say that shit all the time because I can't roll my R's, so I'll be like, "You must bounce on it, crazy
style." I cannot. It cracks me up.
I can't.
But yeah, so we have a cool candle in the mix with them, and it's gonna be a really cool release. So we're just we got to move some of these Ghoul for an Hour candles and bring you guys something really cool, limited edition. But if there's anything like any feedback, any listener stories, anything that you guys want to give us on, even like some merch feedback, if there's things like beanie weenies or beanie weenies. Anytime I say beanies, that's what I think of. If you like beanies, if you like coffee holders, if you like, you know, I don't know, like little tchotchkes, coffee holders, like the, what are they called? Like the sleeves, coffee condoms. Yeah.
Coffee condoms.
I mean, pretty much. Slide them things on.
Protection.
Them things are thinging. So you just get them coffee sleeves.
We'll call them coffee coffins.
Coffee socks.
Ooh.
How many different ways? Huh?
I don't know. That just one sounded inappropriate.
Aren't they called like? Isn't that what they're called? They're like Java socks or like.
Yeah.
But there's like a brand.
A brand.
I was like, I know they were called something socks. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions, like we're always trying to get you guys, we want to engage with you guys more. So definitely like if there's topics that you want to hear about, if there's more than just like if there's episodes that have caught your eye or guests that have been really intriguing that we've had on, if you want like a certain style, like let us know, talk to us. Like we are the ones answering our DMs, our emails. Like we don't have a team. We don't have PR marketing. We are the PR marketing.
We are the team.
Yeah. We have some really exciting guests though. So I guess we should kind of just give that lineup really quickly. We have, let me open our calendar. Because there's a couple of really cool guests that we're going to have. And it's going to be a little off kilter. We're going to have Thomas and Charles from The Shaman and the Showman. I met them in Massachusetts. They came to our table, super cool. We chatted for quite a while, and they are super into true crime, archangels of the paranormal. Like they're super well versed in this topic. So I'm excited to have them on. They're going to come chat with us. Then we're going to have like a fun Ghoul for an Hour episode, just having some ghoul time with Bree. So she is running a paranormal and occult podcast, very similar to what we're doing. She's super groovy. Love talking with her. She's always been super supportive of us on socials. So I'm super excited to kind of chat with her and just pick her mind on. She said some different perspectives on like the afterlife, ghosts, time slips, astrology, haunted history, and she has investigated. So she has some cool spooky stories about that, which I'm really looking forward to. Then if you guys want to check us out, we are going to be guest appearing on a podcast on the 22nd, and that is on Animal Expedition Files with Josh. So that'll be really fun. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers guests and stuff for at least the next month. And I don't think we have another guest until next month, but we can announce that then. So yeah.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! We're all wrapped up in a neat little bow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so hope everybody's staying spooky. As always, stay weird. And until next time, bye everybody.
I really
bye everyone.
I wanted to remember the I love you man thing that we were trying to figure out yesterday.
Oh.
Something
slap the face man.
No.
Slap I forget what he says.
No, now I'm not gonna know. It's too long.
My dog's we're gonna be sick of being in here.
We're never gonna know.
I can't even.
Oh well. Forever.
Okay, Bosley.
Oh my god.
He's like, I'm tired of being in here with you. He's like, let me out and to run. But Matt was, I think, trying to sometimes he forgets and he just closes them in my office because he's trying to keep Maisie away from bussing in the middle of a podcast episode. So she'd be like, hey guys, look at my butt. And he'll just be like, what are you doing? Why are you why? She'll just say random stuff.
On that note, I remembered what it was.
What is it?
Later's on the Menjay.
All right. So later's on the Menjay. Is that how you say it? What does that mean?
Later's on the Menjay.
All right. Later's on the Menjay. Okay. Well, bye. In short, bye.
Later's on the Menjay.
Bye.